Winning Blueprint presents. It's the Redskins Report. So it's everything Redskins and anything of the sort. That's right, there's nothing here to hide. Skins colors are so bold, man, I wear 'em with pride. So get this Skins Report. Recap of Sunday's game and anything of the sort. Whether it's losses or wins, it's all skins. Come get it. I'm holding down the fort. You know why? 'Cause it's the Redskins Report. Man, can't nobody tell me that, man. I've been watching Redskins football since I was 3. Where were you at on January 12th, 1991? I know where I was at. I was in my room crying because the Redskins just lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round of the playoffs. That's real. I'm serious. That's real. Man, just tune into the show, man. Just tune in. The Redskins Report.
Welcome to the Week 10 edition of the Redskins Report. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to let you know from the get-go, right off the top, right off the jump, this episode is not for the faint of heart. If you're one of those Redskins fans that are always optimistic, always thinks there's a chance, and always thinks that the grass is green, then you need not subscribe to this episode. You need not tune in to this episode. Turn away right now because I'm going to give you my brutally honest opinion about the Redskins, the state of the Redskins right now, what I saw on Sunday, which was disheartening, just frustrating on so many different levels. I'm going to be unfiltered. All right, what I say, I'm saying it. It is coming straight from the gut. I'm not holding anything back. I'm not pulling any punches. This thing is going to get ugly. So if you are one of those people who I saw watching Redskins post-game live who are out there screaming at the top of your lungs, excited, making noise after the Redskins just lost a home game to a 1-6 football team, then you need not watch this video because you're not in tune with reality and you just don't get it. And if you don't get it, you're not going to get this. So continue to watch at your own discretion, but you have been warned. So, as you can see by my tone, not only by me donning the black and gold, but just my tone alone lets you know that we didn't come out with the victory. It was expected that we would come out with the victory. It was needed that we came out with this victory. We had to have it, and we didn't get it. And so I posed the question on the preview, where do you go from here if you can't beat a 1-6 team at home and take your record to 4-5 going into your bye week? Where do you go from here? I tell you where you go. You go straight to the bottom of the NFC East. You go straight down like an anchor tied to a ship. You go straight down to the bottom is what you do. I mean, there is no silver lining in this loss. There's no silver lining in this season. The Redskins losing to the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, 21-13, is a red flag of several different things. And we will get into what this actually means for this franchise, what it means for this season, what it means moving forward, and what it means as fans, as players, as coaches, what it just means in general. Well, let's just talk about the game first and foremost. Let's just talk about what we saw on Sunday. Redskins kicked off the football to start off the game, so of course that made me happy. You know how I feel about the Redskins. If they in fact won the toss, I'm not sure. They didn't say on the telecast whether the Redskins won the toss or not. It doesn't matter. We kicked it off, and we were getting the ball after half, so you know that made me a happy man to start out the football game. As always, we gave up a few first downs on the first possession, and normally we give up points on the first possession. But we were able to hold our ground and get off the field. And again, I don't care how we do it. I don't care if someone drops a pass, because we can use all the help we can get on defense. We're not a good defense. You expect to give up points on defense. You expect to give up yards on defense. We're not a good defense. And so I don't care how we get it. I don't care if they get a penalty. I don't care if they drop the football on third down when they would have had a first down. I don't care how we get it. I'll take any breaks, any kind of handouts you want to give. I will take them gladly. But we got off the field on third down. That's all that mattered to me. So they punted the football, and we got the football pinned deep in our own territory. And I really didn't like the play calling to start the football game. I liked the aggressive call on first down. I didn't have a problem with that. They're thinking that you're going to run. They're expecting to run with you basically at your own end zone. So they're expecting you to hand it off to Alfred Morris. So to come out, play action fake, and be aggressive in that situation, I'm fine with it. Aldrick Robinson has to catch the football. And I sat here and I pleaded and I begged for more Aldrick Robinson. I knew I was going to get more Aldrick Robinson. I knew it. And I begged for it, I asked for it, and they gave it to me. And you have to be careful what you ask for, what you wish for. Because you just might get it. And when you do, you might not be so pleased with what you asked for. And that's exactly what I was. Displeased with what I got. I felt like a consumer who went into a store, bought an item, and realized this isn't what I thought I was getting. This isn't what I paid for. And I wanted to take it back. I begged and pleaded for Aldrick Robinson to get in the game, and that's how he repaid me. With a dropped pass on first down. First play out of the gate. Right through his hands. Short arm. Can't do that. You got to make plays. After having such a great game against the Saints in the opening game of the season, after finishing off the preseason in style, I thought Aldrick Robinson was starting to get it in his second season in the National Football League. I was wrong. He regressed. He's not the same guy that we saw against the Saints. He's not catching the football. He's not making plays. He's not someone that can be trusted when you put him on the field. So he let the ball go right through his hands. So that's incompletion. Now it's second down. Robert Griffin III, they ask him to throw it again. Instead of saying, all right, we didn't get a completion on first down. Let's run the ball, make sure that we get into third and manageable. No, we want to throw the football again. Granted, the receiver was open. Granted, if Robert Griffin III makes a good pass, then it's probably a 5, maybe 6 yard completion. But it doesn't. It doesn't work. He doesn't make a good throw. Out on the flats. Incompletion. Now it's 3rd and 10 from your own 3 yard line. So now what do? You need to be safe. We don't do anything. We have to punt now. Luckily enough for us, the Panthers are not a good football team. So they try and self-destruct with a personal foul, blow to the head by Greg Hardy. Gives us a first down, new life on this possession. So we take that gift that they gave us and we start moving the football down the field. Which is great. That's what you want to do. Make a team pay for being undisciplined. Make teams pay for making mistakes. So we start driving the football down the field, and I thought that early on in this football game, I got what I asked for again. More Josh Morgan. I love Josh Morgan. I think he has the best set of hands on the team. And it's funny that I say that because I've said it over and over again, time and time again this season, and I think he has the best hands when we need to go to him more. Well, we start going to him more. And it's not the best thrown football. You know, some of these passes are well behind him. Some of them are up high where he has to jump and expose himself. I don't catch the football, though. And he has the best set of hands on the team, I think. And I'm starting to think maybe that's Logan Paulson with the best set of hands on the team. I don't know. Because Logan doesn't seem to drop the football too often when it comes in his direction. Can't speak for everyone else on the team. But I know Logan, if I throw it to him, he'll catch it. If we throw the football to Logan Paulson, he will catch it. That's one thing I can say. Josh Morgan, not so much. Starting to think that maybe his lack of focus, his lack of concentration is starting to hurt him as well. He's not catching the football as cleanly and as well as I know he can. But on this play, he made a great catch. It was in traffic. He knew he was going to take a shot. Still held on to the football. So we kept the chains moving. And something that really killed us in this game and has really plagued us all season, reared his ugly head on this drive and would do so many times in this football game. And honestly, I'm getting sick of it. A penalty. Anytime we start trying to make things happen on offense, we seem to shoot ourselves in the foot. We love to have self-inflicted wounds. So Trent Williams decides he wants to get a holding penalty. So now instead of it being, 2nd or first down or 2nd and 3. It's 2nd and 12. And we had just picked up a first down. So that negated the first down. And now we're in 2nd and 12, 2nd and long. It's almost like we ran the football on first down for a -2 loss. So now it's 2nd and 12. So what do we do on 2nd and 12? A garbage run to Evan Royston for no gain. Terrible run. I didn't like the play call. It's almost like you're conceding a field goal at this point. You feel comfortable that we're in field goal range. Let's not mess it up. That's nonsense. You have 2 downs to pick up 12 yards. Get a little bit on 2nd down. I don't care. Get 5. Get 6 yards. Make it 3rd and manageable. Don't try a draw. Don't hand it off to Evan Royster for what? And I'm going to get to Evan Royster in a second here because he really pissed me off in this football game. So I'm going to get to Evan Royster here in a bit. But first, let's finish cleaning up this drive. So that was a terrible call in itself because it gained nothing, and I didn't like the call. Thought the Panthers knew the draw was coming. I thought that was a give-up play in that situation. And you're giving up on 2nd down. What are you doing? Get some yardage. I don't care if it's a short pass in the flats, a slant, an out, a stop. I don't care. Push the ball up the field, though. Don't run it. You didn't run it with your back pressed against your own end zone. Why are you running it in this situation? 2nd and 12? Really? So now it's 3rd and 12 because we didn't gain anything on that run. It's a useless run. Now we go with the patented 3rd and 12 wide receiver screen. That seems to be our go-to give-up play on 3rd and long. Hell, we're in 3rd and long. Let's just run a wide receiver screen, see if we can get something to happen. You run a wide receiver screen on 1st down. That's what good teams do. You run it on 1st down. You run it on 1st and 10. Hell, you run it on 2nd and 7. You don't run a wide receiver screen on 3rd and 12. That's what we seem to like to do. 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 9. We want to run a wide receiver screen. Those don't usually pop free on 3rd and long when the defense knows you have to pass. How about you catch them off guard on a down that can be a run or a pass option? Instead of doing it on a down where they know the pass is coming, they're geared up to stop the pass. And it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to take to the air. That's the 2nd week in a row that we ran a wide receiver screen on a 3rd down and long as a give-up play, as a means to an end to kick a field goal. It's almost like you wanted a field goal. You were content with getting a field goal at that point. Push the ball down the field. That's what good teams do. You take advantage of a mistake. The Panthers made a critical error on this possession. They extended a drive that was going to get them the football back, maybe even in Redskins territory. We were going to punt from our own end zone. Instead, they're a 1-6 football team. They create an opportunity for us to extend the drive with a personal foul. We need to go get 7. We need to let them know that it's not okay to get a personal foul when we were going to punt you the football. We need to let them know that you are a 1-6 team and you can't afford to make those kind of mistakes on the road. What did we do? No, we decide we want to kick a field goal. We want to play it safe. We want to run the football on 2nd and 12. After a dumb holding penalty, we want to run the football on 2nd and 12, which was a terrible decision. Netted us no yards, no gain on the play. So now we're in 3rd and long, 3rd and 12. Now we want to run a wide receiver screen, as if the Panthers haven't watched film and didn't know that was coming. A give-up play of sorts. Ridiculous. Luckily enough for us, Kai Forbath has done nothing but been steady since he's come over as our kicker, and he pounded through the field goal to make that drive worth something. But it shouldn't have come to that. We should have been continuing to be aggressive. Instead, we decided we wanted a field goal. It was okay to kick a field goal because this drive was supposed to be nothing in the first place. It was extended by the Panthers being undisciplined. And so a field goal is better than what we were going to get. No, get 7. So we get a field goal. So we're up 3-0 in this football game. So we kicked the football off to the Panthers. We had a 3-0 lead. Kind of feeling good about the start to the game, even though I was not pleased with the end result of that last drive being a field goal. Okay, we're on the board. We're on the board first, and let's see if we can go out and get a stop and kind of dictate to the Panthers what we're going to do in this football game. No, that was wishful thinking. Of course, this defense is going to give it up. That's what they do. And they allowed the Panthers to gash us in the run game. And that's the one thing I asked them not to do in this football game. The Panthers are not a great running team. They haven't been this season. And I asked us not to allow them to come in and run the football on us. And on this second possession, that's exactly what they did. They ran it right down our throats. We got a steady diet of Cam Newton, D'Angelo Williams, and Jonathan Stewart. And we couldn't stop it. We're not fitting into our run fits correctly. We're over pursuing on plays. There were a couple plays where, look, we face our offense in practice. You see this stuff. They ran essentially what we run. So you shouldn't be over pursuing on plays. I seen Kerrigan not being disciplined, setting the edge. He's crashing down and following the run fake. And Cam Newton is coming out the other side for 7, 8, 9 yards. Come on, you have to be disciplined. And we're just not a disciplined football team. Whether it's penalties, whether it's execution, we're not a disciplined football team. And so they gashed us. And I thought the referees struggled in this game as well. I thought they had a terrible game officiating. I thought they were inconsistent and they were all over the place. Half the time they didn't know what the hell was going on in this game. But the officials weren't the reason we lost this game. They attributed to us losing this game, but we're not a good football team. That blown whistle, yeah, that official blew the whistle. Someone blew a whistle. And you see the official run in, and he's waving his arms to stop the play, to stop the clock. And so something should have been done there to say, okay, look, we made a mistake. Because somebody blew the whistle. One of these officials blew a whistle. You're not telling me that one of you guys didn't blow the whistle. Somebody blew that whistle. And inadvertent or not, once you blow it, that's it. That play needs to be stopped. He didn't run out of bounds. You made a mistake. Deal with it. Once you make a play like that, once you make a call on the field, once you blow your whistle, that's it. Guys, stop. Perry Wiley had an opportunity to push him out of bounds or at least dive at his legs. At least give me an attempt. And Perry would have done that. I feel confident that either D'Angelo Williams does not score on that play or he's tripped up or at least we give the effort to try and trip him up. Nonetheless, he heard a whistle. He stopped playing. That's what you're taught to do. You hear a whistle, you stop. And whether it was inadvertent or you thought he stepped out of bounds and realized I made a mistake, you got to stop the play right there. You can't allow him to run into the end zone. But whatever. Okay, they get a touchdown. So they go up 7-3. Because it was the right call, but you blew your whistle. So once you blow the whistle, play needs to be stopped. Doesn't matter if it was a mistake or not. So they go up 7-3. And just like that, we're down in the game. But it's okay. Because I expect our offense to be able to score points this week. Our offense is going to be able to put up 30 points, 27 points in this football game. And we should be able to win because we're going to outscore the Panthers. We know that the defense is going to give it up. You know that coming into the game. So that's not a surprise to you. We have to score points to win. We weren't going to win this game 3-0, so they scored a touchdown. So we get the football back, and I'm telling the fellas, look, we need it. We need to go down and get some points. I don't care if it's a field goal, but I prefer a touchdown. Field goals don't win games, touchdowns do. So while I don't mind it being a field goal, because I just want to respond to what they just did, I would much rather have a touchdown. We need to start getting back in the habit of scoring touchdowns. That was something that we did very efficiently at the beginning of the season, was score touchdowns. That's why we were scoring up around 30 points every single game, because when we got opportunities in the red zone to score touchdowns, that's exactly what we did. We were scoring touchdowns. All of a sudden, now we get in the red zone, we're struggling. We can't find a way to get in the end zone. So we get the football, and we start pounding the ball with Alfred Morris, which is what I thought we should have been doing from the jump. Thought we should have came out and ran, because I don't think that this Carolina Panthers team is that good against the run. I don't think they're that stout against the run. I thought we could run on them in this game. And so Alfred Morris starts getting downhill. He starts running the football as only Alfred Morris can do. He's getting downhill. He's getting chunks. And we're moving the football. And it's looking like a very promising drive at this point. So we start to move the ball, and we get in one of these situations where it's 4th down. And you're right in no man's land. You don't want to punt because most likely it's going to go in the end zone, or you're going to punt it at the 10. With Sav Rocket, it's usually not going to stop at the 1 or the 2. You're either in the end zone or you're at the 11-yard line. And you're at the point where you don't really want to punt because you're already across midfield and you feel like it's short yardage. We should be able to pick this up. Don't want to kick a field goal because it's too far. I don't want to punt because we're too close. So we decided to go for it. And I'm all for it. I love when Mike Shanahan is aggressive. I have no problems with him going for it on 4th down. And we've been great on 4th down. Let's be honest. We were 8 of 9 coming into this football game. So we go for it. We get it. Josh Morgan is big on 4th and 3rd down early in the football game. I was pleased. He picks it up. And we keep the sticks moving. So we continue to move the football. We find ourselves another 4th down instance. This time we hand it off to Darrell Young. He picks up the 1st down. Keep the chains moving. So at this point now, you've went for it twice on 4th down. You want a touchdown is what that says to me. You're not trying to settle because we already had 2 opportunities, or at least 1 for sure, to kick a field goal. And you decide to opt out of the field goal attempt and try to get a 1st down. So that tells me you want to score a touchdown, and I'm all for it. I want a touchdown. Because to win this football game, and I know Mike Shanahan is thinking this in his head as well, I can't trust my defense. To win this game, we have to score 27 to 30 points. So kicking field goals repeatedly isn't going to net us a victory. We need to score touchdowns. So by you going for it on 4th down twice, that lets me know that you want 7 on this possession. And so if we encounter any other 4th and shorts, most likely you're going to roll the dice again because you've already set that precedence on this drive by saying, look, I'm going for it. So I'm all for it. I'm all in. Let's get 7. So we get down inside the red zone. We get inside the 10-yard line. And we get inside the 5-yard line. And now we can smell the end zone. Let me backtrack a little bit. Robert Griffin III almost threw a pick on this drive. He was hit as he was trying to throw the football. Evan Royster is terrible in pass protection. Week after week, I see him in, and I don't know why this team is enamored with him in the game. Like he brings an extra element or a different dimension when he comes in the game. He's an excellent receiver out of the backfield, or he's great in the screen game, or he's an excellent pass protector. He's none of these things. So why do we continuously put him in the game on 3rd down? It behooves me to see him in the game on 3rd down as if he adds an extra dimension to our offense by putting him in on 3rd down. I don't trust him in the game on 3rd down, and that's why you put backs in on 3rd down. That's why you have a 3rd down back, because you trust him. If you throw him the football, he's going to catch it. If you ask him to pick up a blitzing defender, he's going to do it. He does none of these things well. How many times have we thrown Evan Royster a screen? And maybe not the best throw, but he drops it. How many times has he looked off the football trying to see what he has up the field and dropped the football? More times than you can count. More times than you can remember. So he's not a great receiver. And even when he catches it, he doesn't make things happen. He's not explosive. He's not a difference maker. So then you ask yourself, okay, so is he in for pass pro? No. He gets blown up. He gets moved out of the way. Guys go around him. Guys go through him when he's in the game blocking. He's a non-factor in the game on 3rd down. So why is he in the game on 3rd down? I asked that question. I want to answer. Why is he in the game on 3rd down? You went and got Keelan Williams? As soon as he gets up to speed, put him in. At least I know Keelan Williams will block someone in pass pro. When he was here last time he did that. Keelan Williams can catch the football out of the backfield. Just leave. If you feel that bad, just leave Alfred Morris in the game. And let him pass block. Because at least I know he'll stonewall a guy. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and be physical with somebody. But anyway, I digress. So we get in the red zone. We get inside the 10-yard line. And on 1st down, we have an excellent run with Alfred Morris. We get down to about the 2, maybe 3-yard line. And then here we go again with that nonsense. I hate the toss to the short side of the field. Why? Why are you running that? What is the purpose of the toss to the short side of the field? Why are you running wide when we only need 2 yards? We have been killing them with the stretch game. Killing them. And at this point, I don't mind a Darrell Young handoff. I don't mind. I just want to go north and south at this point. We're at the 2-yard line. Alfred Morris is a beast. Why are we going lateral? Why are we going lateral to the short side of the field? Where's the psychological sense in that? I don't understand what you are looking to gain from running in a congested area wide with not a lot of real estate. What is to gain from doing that? What? You guys do this so often that you would think that we've bust off several huge gains throughout the course of the season by doing this. All I see is losses and unproductive runs when we do this. Short side of the field toss. Why? Why? It's not a lot of space over there. It's congested. So, of course, we lose yards. Then we try another attempt. Does not get it done. Now it's 4th down. And so you've already went for it on several occasions. So at this point now you're like, okay, we went for it twice on 4th down on this drive already. You already made the conscious decision that you want 7. So go for it. So when you left the offense out there, I was all for it. I didn't mind. And I'm pretty sure the Panthers knew once no one was in the backfield, everyone was spread out, that they were getting some form of a quarterback draw. Pretty sure that was evident because we've become really predictable in the red zone. That's part of the reason why we're not scoring enough points, why we're not scoring as consistently as we have in the past. Because teams are starting to realize our tendencies. And one of those tendencies is when we clear it out, we spread everybody out, empty backfield, Robert Griffin III in the shotgun, chances are you're getting a quarterback draw or some form of a quarterback run. In this case, we didn't go to the direct quarterback draw, which was cool. I was fine with the play call. I didn't have a problem with it at all. I actually thought it was a good play call because if everyone executed and did their job, he walks in the end zone. But I'm going to tell you who did not do their job. One Mr. Evan Royster, which is becoming an ongoing theme. Do you see where I'm going with this? Why is he in the game blocking when blocking is not one of his strong suits? It's not a strong suit for Evan Royster. It's not an asset that he has in his game. That's not something that he adds to the Redskins offense. He's not a good blocker. This was on display on this play, and it cost us dearly. This is a 16-play, 78-yard drive that should have amounted to a touchdown. But instead, Robert Griffin III, on 4th down, takes the shotgun snap and runs wide, to the wide side of the field, to the open side of the field. I like it. If you're going to run, run to where there's space. And that's what we did. And he had it. He had the corner. And as he went to take advantage of that corner, that edge that was being set for him, Evan Royster gets absolutely annihilated by a cornerback. Not a safety, not a linebacker, not a defensive end, a cornerback. Absolutely stood him up, jacked him up, got in the way of Robert Griffin III, strung the play out all the way to the sideline. I mean, he absolutely blew Evan Royster up 3 yards out wide. Just made Robert Griffin III have to go all the way around. And essentially blew the play up. Robert Griffin III could not get to the outside. Because all Evan Royster had to do was cut that DB. That's all he had to do. Cut him. Get in the way, cut him, and Robert Griffin III gets around that corner and can dive and extend the football. We got a touchdown. He gets blown up trying to block him, knowing goodness well he's not a strong physical guy. Gets blown up, pushed 3 yards laterally. Now Robert Griffin III has to try to go around him. He can't. Now here comes help. Now here comes the brigade. Now he can't get in the end zone. Now we get stopped. Turnover on downs. You have a 16-play, 78-yard drive that eats up about 6, 7, maybe even 8 minutes on the clock, and you get absolutely nothing for your troubles. Nothing. Nothing to talk about. There's nothing to show for all that hard work. You went for it on 4th down twice. You went for it actually 3 times on 4th down. Converted 2 of them and end up getting nothing. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, that's heartbreaking. That's demoralizing. You know, you give all the momentum to the Panthers in this instance when you do that. But now the defense needs to come on the field, get them off the field 3 and out, get the football back to the offense, and now you got a shot to put points back on the scoreboard. But again, that's what good teams do. And logically, I know what Mike Shanahan was thinking. If we don't convert, defense will get off the field. You can't think that way. You got to think illogical when you're thinking about this Redskins defense. You can't think logically. You can't use logic because this defense is illogical. This defense is erratic, irrational. Any way you want to describe this defense as being a defense that's non-traditional, that's not good, that's inconsistent, then use it. Use that term. But you can't think logically when thinking about this defense because this defense isn't your typical defense. We're not a good team. We're not a good defense. So to think that we were just going to get them off the field without allowing them to have a first down, that was foolish on Mike Shanahan's part. But again, I like the aggressiveness, so I'm not going to complain. But we knew we were going to give up first downs. We weren't going to get the Panthers to punt from in their end zone and give us the football back in good field position. No way. So they moved the ball right down the field. Drove it right down the field. And the sad part about it is they took it 98 yards right down the field. And they did the one thing that we couldn't do. Score a touchdown. And really what's becoming old about this defense is that we're regressing on defense. Like Josh Wilson used to be solid at corner. You know, one guy out there that you could say was, you know, he really stinks is D'Angelo Hall, and you would go, okay, yeah, D'Angelo lost a step. He's not looking for the football. He's face guarding guys. But Josh Wilson, at least he's looking. He may not make a play on the football, but he's looking. He's defending guys. If you make a really good throw, you'll probably get Josh, but at least he's looking for the ball. At least he's looking to make a defense of the football. It's no longer the case. Week after week now, I'm seeing Josh Wilson not even turn around and identify where the football is. He's not even making plays on the football. He's not even playing the football. He's just playing the man. Every week, he looks like Stanford route more and more, where he's face guarding. He's becoming a face guarder. And in the National Football League, you get penalized for being a face guarder. The referees will cut you some slack if you just look for the football. He's not even looking for it. And then he has nerve to want to complain when they throw a flag on him. You are over there assaulting Steve Smith. You're assaulting him. You're undressing him. You're cavity searching him. You're holding him. You're mugging him. And you're not looking for the football. What do you think they're going to do? So he helped aid their drive by getting holdings and passing interferences. And then they capped off a drive with a throw to Steve Smith where if he just looks for the football, he probably gets a knockdown. But instead, he looks at Steve Smith the whole time, and Steve Smith makes a play on the football. Great throw by Cam Newton. He goes up, makes the play, touchdown. 14-3, just like that. At this point, we're in trouble. We're on the ropes because when you go 16 plays, 78 yards, over 6 minutes, 7 minutes elapse on the clock, and you don't get points, and then you let a team in turn drive 98 yards down the field after you fail to score, and you allow them to get a touchdown to extend their lead, that says a lot about your football team. That says a lot to me about the football team. It says that we're not executing. And at times I feel like we're not a well-coached football team. I really do. Sometimes I really feel like we're not a well-coached football team. And I'm not saying that this coaching staff is fully to blame for what's going on the field. But at times, I feel like we're not putting our players in the best position to make plays. And no, we don't have the best talent, especially on defense. We're void of talent on defense. I mean, I could handpick a few guys off this defense and say, hey, if I was going to start this defense over again, I would take you along with me. But there's not many guys on this defense that I would do that with. I mean, our whole secondary, I will trade them away in an instant. In a heartbeat. I will give every single member of our secondary away right now if you give me the opportunity. Let me pick. I will take reserves off of other teams' roster and trade them out for our guys, our starters. I mean, our secondary stinks. It's porous. They don't make plays. They're not looking for the football. They don't tackle well. D'Angelo Hall has gotten better in the tackling department. I will say that. But as far as making plays, athleticism, being able to match up with receivers, we can't do it with any receivers around the league. It doesn't matter what the speed or the athletic ability of that receiver is. It doesn't matter the height. We can't match up with opposing receivers. Whether it's Steve Smith at 5'9", 5'10", and quick and elusive, or it's a Mike Williams or a Vincent Jackson at 6'5" or 6'2". It doesn't matter what the size is. It doesn't matter what the speed is. We can't match up with receivers. We're not a good football team in the secondary. They stink. Every last single member of our secondary is terrible. So you look at the linebackers, and London Fletcher's getting up there in age, and you're starting to see it. He's missing tackles. He's a step slower than guys. And look, bless his heart, man. He's been a warrior for us. But, again, he's 37, 38 years old, or whatever he is. He's getting up there in age. And for him to be the best player on our defense, that speaks volumes to the fact that we don't have a lot of talent on our defense. I love Perry Riley. Give me Perry Riley. I'll take Perry Riley on my ride, on my journey, any day. If I had to pack up the Redskins on the defense that I wanted to take, and they could ride with me in the vehicle, Perry Riley's coming on the ride with me. Get in the car. Ryan Kerrigan, get in the car. That whole secondary, start walking. You're not getting in the car with me. London Fletcher, get in the car. Of course, if Brian Orakpo was here, he would get in the car. But Rob Jackson, I like Rob Jackson. But he's a backup. He's not a starter. I love Lorenzo Alexander. Again, he's a backup, not a starter. Go to the defensive line. We're getting absolutely no push with these guys. Stephen Bowen, get in the car. Barry Cofield, hold up. Hold up. Now, if you allow me to put Barry Cofield, and this is what I think we are really lacking right now, is a true nose tackle. A guy that's going to collapse the pocket. Someone that's going to eat up double teams and eat up space. Barry Cofield is not that guy. You know what I would like to see us do with Barry Cofield? Move him outside to defensive end. At the 3 technique, and let somebody else go inside at the nose. Put Chris Baker in there. Someone that's going to eat up space and be a nuisance in the middle, and allow Barry Cofield to be on the outside. I think Barry Cofield would serve us much better outside, especially with the absence of Adam Carricker for the rest of the season. You need someone that's not going to be moved out on the edge. I think Golston is an absolute joke out there on the edge. He gets moved and pushed in, and they cave in his side way too often. Teams run at Kedrick Golston. They see him in the game, and if I was a quarterback and I saw him, number 64 in the game, I check to a run right to his side, run right at him. Because you're going to get 5 or 15 yards running to his side. Because he's not stout at the point of attack. You can move him out of the way. And so, I feel like we have so many deficiencies on defense, it's not even funny right now. But I think that Barry Cofield is the guy that you can win with. So get on the bus. You get in the vehicle. Go ahead, get in. You look at the rest of these guys, though, they're walking. They're walking. Kedrick Golson, start walking, man. I mean, it's too many guys on this roster where you look at them and say, what purpose do you serve? What do you serve? And these are guys we have to rely on every single week. It's frustrating. So we go to halftime down 14-3. And that's as disappointing of a first half as I've had all season. I mean, last week against the Steelers, that was a pretty disappointing first half, but you expected that on the road against the Steelers. You expected us to come out and really be tested. Because that was the first time I really felt like we were going to face a defense that was going to present problems and pose a challenge to us. And I wanted to see how we responded. And we didn't respond well. But, again, I wanted to see what we were going to do. I didn't know. That was the whole thing about last week, was I didn't know how we were going to respond to seeing the second-ranked defense in the National Football League. So I wanted to see how we were going to respond to that. And I thought for the most part, Robert Griffin III handled himself well. He just didn't get help. He didn't make good passes all the time, but he didn't get help. But I thought guys were open. We had opportunities to exploit that Pittsburgh Steelers defense a week ago. So while it was disappointing, it was the Steelers. It was on the road. You could take it. You could take it. This one was home. This was against the Carolina Panthers, a 1-6 football team who had lost 5 straight. No, this is not acceptable to be down 14-3 at the half to a team that's 1-6, losers of 5 straight, who are not a good football team, who are struggling on the offensive end, who are struggling on the defensive end, who are prone to making mistakes, who made mistakes in the first half, but we didn't take advantage of them, who is just flat out not a good team. No, it's not acceptable to be down 14-3 at the half to a team like that. So yeah, that was a pretty disappointing first half, to say the least. And that's really mildly putting it. I mean, that was an incredulous first half. We should have been ashamed of ourselves. And we were booed off into the locker room in the first half. And rightfully so. They needed to be booed off the field. Because that was a disgusting performance in that first half by the Redskins team as a whole. So we come out in the second half, we get the football. And again, this is exactly why you want the football first after the half. Because you don't know how the first half is going to turn out. Whether you're up or you're down, it's always beneficial to get the ball after the half. It didn't matter that we got the football first in the second half, however, because we did nothing with it. So it was an unproductive drive. We had to punt. And so at this point now I'm scared because we're already down 14-3. The Panthers have scored twice already. You know, let's say they had 4 possessions in the first half. They scored on 2 of them. It's a 50% clip that they're scoring at. So the probability of them scoring on this drive, their first of the second half, is 50-50 if we go by the numbers in the first half. So I'm not really thrilled at the prospects of them getting their hands on the football again. But we catch a break. On third down, Greg Olsen decides he wants to drop the football. Would have been a first down. He was past the sticks. He decides he wants to drop it. And again, we will take every single break we can get because we're not a good football team. We're not a good defense. We don't get off the field on third downs. So if you're going to give us a chance to get off the field, we need to run and take it. And that's what we did. He dropped the football. Now they had to punt. Good for us. We get the football back, and we start to mount a drive. And at this point, we need a touchdown. We need a touchdown. If we have to settle for a field goal, which will cut it back to a 1-score game, you'll take it. But you're in the danger zone right now. You're down 11. A field goal cuts it back to 8 and a 1-score game. But again, if the Panthers go and get just a field goal, it's back to a 2-score game. They get a touchdown, it's out of reach at this point if we only get a field goal. So you have to be saying to yourself, we need a touchdown. We need to be able to sustain a drive, put some stuff together, and get a touchdown out of it. So we went to desperation mode. Anytime you start seeing us exclusively in the triple option, we're in desperation mode. That's what that says to me. And so we went to the triple option. Because the one thing we can say when we go to the triple option is it's hard to stop. Because there's so many different things you can get out of it. You can get the play action fake. You can get the handoff to Alfred Morris. You can get Robert Griffin III pulling it out and then running the actual speed option with the option to pitch to that third man, whether it's Brandon Banks or in this case it was Joshua Morgan. And they were flipping it around. They put Des Briscoe back there too. It's so many different things that can come of it. It's dangerous. It's hard to stop. The only thing that I hate about when we get in this triple option is that the ability, because you have so many guys in the backfield, the ability to actually make big plays down the field is non-existent. Because you have 3 guys in the backfield. You got 5 guys blocking in front of you. You got the quarterback. So we're talking 5. Quarterback makes 6. 2, maybe 3 other guys in the backfield with you. That's 9. So you only got 1, maybe 2 guys out running the route. You can't do much with that kind of route combination. You can't send guys 2. You can't send 2 guys out, possibly 3 guys out in the route, and think that you're going to get someone running wide open in the secondary and make a really huge play. You might get someone running open on a crossing route, but I'm talking about legitimately having someone bust open a 67-yard touchdown reception, on a deep post or a go route. It's hard to have that happen when they got 6, maybe 7 defenders with their eyes all in the backfield, and 4 of them can concentrate on 2 receivers. It's hard to ask us to make big plays. What I'm trying to say, in everything I just said, I said a lot to say this. When you're the Redskins and you're doing the triple option, you're taking away the element of the big play. Sure, you're moving the football, but all it takes is one mistake to derail a drive. We need more big plays. We need chunk plays. It's too often now I see that earlier in the season we were getting chunks. We're gashing teams for, 37-yard gain here, 19-yard run with Alfred Morris there, sprinkle in 20-yard run by Robert Griffin III here, another 36-yard pass there. We were getting chunks. We were an explosive offense. All of a sudden now, everything is 16 play, 17 play, 14 play, 12 play. It's hard to sustain those type of drives in the National Football League. And when you're the most penalized team in the league, like we are, you're going to have a mishap at some point on your drive. On this drive in particular, Chris Cooley was called for blocking it back. Thought it was a bogus call. He did block in the back, but it was so ticky-tack. It was at the end of the play that you swallow your whistle in that instance. That was a terrible call. Again, these officials had a tough go of it in this game. They were terrible for both teams. The Panthers got a delay of game when the official is literally standing over the center telling him, don't snap the football. How are you going to call me for delay of game if I can't snap the football? I'm ready. I'm set. I just thought it was a bad officiated game. But nonetheless, we overcome that penalty, extend the drive, and we go to Niles Paul. It's good to see us get him involved in the offense. I would love to see Niles Paul catch the ball cleanly, not have to dive on the ground. He almost dropped that pass. That's why he slid to the ground, was to make sure that he didn't drop it. And the pass could have been better. But again, it was thrown in a location that he could have caught it and ran and not have to fall on the ground. But again, Niles Paul not catching the ball cleanly. He felt like he needed to go, and he did, needed to go to the ground to possess that football and make sure that he didn't drop it. So instead of that being an even bigger play, possibly a touchdown, it's just a big gain. So Niles Paul catches that pass, about 20 to 22-yard gain. Nice pickup, overcomes that penalty on Chris Cooley. And so now we got first down from around the 15-yard line or so. We're in the red zone at this point. Robert Griffin III scrambles on first down, gets about 4 yards. So it's 2nd and 6. At this point in the football game, Alfred Morris has been destroying the Panthers defense on the stretch run. And we're in the red zone. I thought that we had success running the football in the red zone with the stretch play earlier in the football game. We went away from it, ended up not getting in the end zone. Let's go back to the stretch run. I thought we got too pass happy. You know, we want to put the ball in Robert Griffin III's hands all the time and make him make plays. And that's fine sometimes, but take some of the pressure off of him. Run the football with Alfred Morris. Why not? So I'm looking for a run here. Instead, we put him in the shotgun. He throws a slant to Josh Morgan. It's deflected, incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 6. So at this point, we need to get in the end zone. All right. You guys are outthinking yourself at this point now. You're being too fancy and too cute. Put a hat on a guy, hat on a hat, block somebody, run the football. I would have been fine with 2 straight running attempts at this point because they weren't stopping the run. It's not like they were stifling our run game and so we needed to take to the air. That was not the case. Alfred Morris was absolutely gashing these guys. We were blocking them up front. We were winning the battle up front. And they just went away from the run. And I felt like if we would have ran it on 2nd and 6, we would have got 4 yards, which would have put us in 3rd and 2. We could have ran it again. And even if we didn't get a first down, it would have put us in 4th and short. Another instance where you could have possibly went for it. Who knows? After what transpired the first time, I'm pretty sure we were going to kick the field goal if we got to 4th down. So now that you took that option away from us with the pass on 2nd down, now we got to pass on 3rd down. And of course the Panthers know that. So we go into this option look and we decide to get a ball to Brandon Banks. Why the hell would you do that? I'm starting to really become perturbed at the notion that Brandon Banks is dangerous with the football in his hands. He's such a small guy in stature that he's not looking for contact. He's looking to run away from it. And by avoiding contact, he doesn't make plays. Guys are getting arms on him and literally throwing him 2 and 3 yards back and just disrupting the timing of the play and not allowing us. If he doesn't get to use his speed is only an asset to us when he's untouched. You see it on kickoffs. He's not going to break tackles. He's not going to be someone that just runs straight ahead and is looking to get the ball up the field. He wants to run around guys. He's always looking to get to the outside. Out of bounds is his best friend. He feels safe when out of bounds is not further than a step away. And so he's not going to bust too many returns off because he needs perfect blocking. He needs a seam where he can hit it and not be close to a defender. He doesn't make guys miss. That's not his strong suit. His strong suit is flat out speed. Outrunning someone with an angle is what Brandon Banks wants to do. Well, that doesn't help us on 3rd and 6 because you're not going to outrun many angles. You're not going to fool many teams. And he's going to have to make someone miss. That's not something that he's really adept at. And so he gets the ball and he does nothing with it. And at this point, I don't really want to get him in the game on offense and try to make him work. I'd much rather get the ball to a Des Briscoe or Josh Morgan or someone that's going to run it up in there, put their head down and try to get as many yards as possible. Because Brandon Banks doing all this dancing around and trying to juke people, going backwards, is unproductive. And I'm starting to really become frustrated with him getting in the game and not doing anything. Because he's scared to be hit. It's almost like he's afraid of contact. I probably would be too if I was 5'9" and 135 pounds soaking wet. I probably would be scared of contact too. But at this point, he's really not doing anything for us. He's not making any plays. He's not being a difference maker. So I'm starting to become a little off-put by Brandon Banks' presence on the football team. He's not making any plays on special teams. He's not doing anything when we put him in the game on offense. He's not making any splash plays. And at this point, I'm almost to the point where I'm just like, hell, just leave him on special teams, and at the end of the season, reevaluate him, and he probably won't be on the team next year because he's not paying dividends anymore. I'm watching teams around the league, and they got returners. They just run it up in there. And they just run it, and hopefully they hit something on the way there. And maybe they get a crease, And if they make someone miss, now they off to the races. That's what I want. And so we ended up having to kick a field goal after Brandon Banks is dancing around and no gain on the play, or a gain or two, or whatever it was. It was irrelevant. I didn't like the play call, and we had to kick a field goal. So at this point, it's 14-6, and another drive where the Redskins moved the ball down the field. Took us a hell of a lot of plays to get not a lot of yards, and still didn't result in a touchdown. And so this is becoming a trend now, where we take a lot of plays to get, 60, 70 yards, and we're not getting in the end zone. It's one thing to put together a 14-play, 85, 90-yard drive that culminates in a touchdown. That's one thing. That's fine. It's a totally different thing to put together a 14, 15, 16-play, 78-yard drive that nets you a field goal or a turnover on down after you couldn't convert on fourth down. Totally different thing. And that's the difference right now. In this game, the Panthers were scoring touchdowns when they got in the red zone. We were kicking field goals or not scoring at all. This is starting to become a theme with the Redskins, where we're taking a lot of plays to get yardage and still not finding the end zone. We're not getting chunk plays. That's the biggest problem that I have with the offense that we're running right now, is that we're looking to drive the football down the field. 14, 15, 16 plays. That's fine. But in the National Football League, you need chunk plays. You need big plays. You need to be able to complete a 65-yard touchdown pass, or a 65-yard pass, period. A 42-yard pass. You need to be able to do that. We're not doing that right now. When's the last game that we've completed a big play? A bomb. If you want to have that Santana Moss play against the Giants, you want to consider that a bomb, you go right ahead. That was like 35, 33 yards. I don't consider that a huge play. I consider huge plays to be 40 yards or more. When's the last game we did that? I would have to venture to say we have to go all the way back to week 3 against the Rams, if you're looking for one of those, or week 2, excuse me, because I believe the Rams was the second game of the season. So you have to go all the way back to week 2 against the Rams when Leonard Hankerson caught that deep bomb from Robert Griffin III. When's the last time we completed a deep shot down the field? Don't happen often for us. And that's the problem. We're not getting big plays. The offense that we run says that you're going to get 6 yards. You're going to get 11 yards. You're going to get 15 yards. You're going to get 6 yards, 4 yards. You're not going to get 39 yards. You're not going to get 72 yards with the way the offense is constructed right now. And that's a problem, because we're the most penalized team in the league for a reason. We get penalties. And so if you want to put together a 14, 15, 16 play drive, you're going to get a holding penalty. You're going to get a hands to the face. You're going to get a legal procedure penalty, a legal shift, legal formation. You're going to get some kind of penalty that's going to hinder our drive. It's going to hinder and bring our progress to a halt on that drive. It's coming. That's what we do. We're not a disciplined football team. And so what that does is it stops your momentum. It stops your progress on the drive. And it stops you from getting a touchdown and makes you kick a field goal. Or it stops you from even putting points up on the board in some instances. And that's why the way that our offense is constructed right now is not conducive for us being successful in the long haul. Because you can't ask a team to continuously drive 79 yards in 16 plays. You need to have an 8-play 79-yard drive sometimes. You need to have an 11-play 90-yard drive, not a 17-play 78-yard drive. So we settled for a field goal, cut the lead to 14-6. So now it's a one-score game. So at least we did that. Again, I wanted a touchdown. Felt like a touchdown was necessary on that possession, but it wasn't a must. It was just something that you would have liked to have had So we got a field goal. It's a one-possession game, and that's the most important thing. We're only one score away at this point. So we kick the ball off to the Panthers, and they start off the possession badly with a hands to the face, personal foul type penalty, a face mask penalty. So they have 1st and 22. And all season long, we have been terrible at holding teams down after they've committed a penalty and had long yardage situations. Whether it's 1st and long or 2nd and long or 3rd and long. We've been terrible at stopping teams from getting chunks of yardage back. Whether it's 3rd and 17 after a holding penalty on 3rd and 7, which puts them on the outskirts of field goal range, and then we allow them to catch a 14-yard pass, which gets them back in the field goal range to attempt a long distance field goal that they knock through. Or it's 2nd and 24, and we allow them to get 17 on 2nd down, which makes it 3rd and manageable at 3rd and 7. Or it's 1st and 22, as it was in this instance against the Panthers, and we allow them to get 21 yards on 1st down on a run play. It's just sickening to watch, especially when you know it's coming. After they got that penalty, I said, watch them get this 1st down. Didn't expect them to get it all back on one play on 1st down, but I expected them to get it back in maybe 2 plays, maybe 3 plays. Maybe they get 16 on 1st down and get 7 on 2nd down and then pick up about 5 on 3rd down and pick up the 1st down. But I didn't expect them to get 21 on 1st down and get 2 yards on the next play. Really? Is that what it has come to on defense? Where we can't stop a simple draw, a give-up draw at that on 1st down? They're just looking to kind of get the offense back on track with that draw. They were just looking to get 3-4 yards on that draw. They weren't looking to pop it for 21. We're the Redskins. We don't stop people from getting 21 yards on 1st and 22. That's what we do. We give it up. But we were able to stop them ultimately on this possession. On 3rd and 1, we rose to the occasion, got a stop, forced them to punt. And their punter shanked the football and only kicked a 14-yard punt. So we got prime field position. And what did we do with it? Absolutely nothing. That's what I'm talking about. Wasting field position. With sacks, with penalties, with lack of execution. We were terrible on Sunday. It was hard to watch. It was disheartening. And we're regressing in so many different areas. It's not even funny. We were once a top flight offense in this league. We once had the #1 rush offense in this league. We're regressing in so many areas. I've lost count. We're not executing at all. We used to not give up a lot of sacks. They were destroying our offensive line. And Robert Griffin III was holding on to the ball too long. He did his part to ensure that these sacks took place. But nonetheless, there were plays where he didn't even have a chance. We looked like the team from last year. And this offense is tailored to eliminate sacks. To stop quarterback from having to worry about getting sacked. Because it's set up to get the ball out of his hands quickly, to keep the defense off balance so they can't just pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. And we still couldn't protect. When we weren't getting sacked, we were getting a penalty. When we weren't getting a sack or a penalty, we weren't executing. Guys were missing blocks and missing assignments or dropping a football. And so we did nothing with it. We punted the football, but we pinned the Panthers deep in their own territory, at the 9-yard line to be exact. So now, again, like I've said before, we need a stop. It's 14-6. It's a one-possession game. Get a stop, which the defense has done already. And maybe the offense will be able to get something jump-started. You got to keep the hope. You got to keep the faith. So just get another stop. First play out of the gate. Unbelievable. All I can say was wow. Cam Newton drops back. He's under duress slightly for one of the few times in this football game. He just throws it up. And what do you know? A wide open Armani Edwards streaking down the sideline with not a Redskin defender in sight. I mean, he caught this football And there was not one burgundy jersey anywhere within 15 yards of this man. I thought it was going to be a walk-in touchdown. I had no idea that Cedric Griffin was lurking somewhere around on the other side of the field and had the angle to be able to catch him and push him out of bounds. I just thought he was going to walk in the end zone. At their own 9-yard line, they complete an 82-yard pass down to our 9-yard line. Are you kidding me? Unreal. We worked so hard. And that's the difference. We worked so hard to kick a field goal. We 16 play, 78-yard drive, no points. 14 play, 65-yard, 70-yard drive, field goal. We worked so hard for our little bit of points, for our little 6 points, our couple field goals. We worked so hard for those. And they get one play and they get 82 yards. That's what I'm talking about. And at that moment in the football game, I had a revelation. I had an epiphany. And I have been running from this revelation for a long time because I refuse to give in to that way of thinking. I just didn't want to believe that this was the case. As they scored that touchdown and went up 21-6 in this game, I had a revelation. I had an epiphany, and I really have been running from this for a long time. But you know what that revelation was? We stink. We're a joke. We're a joke. We're an absolute joke in the NFC. Your teams see us and they laugh at us. We're still that same team that everybody sees as the doormats of the NFC East. They're not afraid of us. And for a second, just for 1 second, I had that much hope that we would actually be a formidable team this season. And that's the problem with the Redskins. That's what makes this season so frustrating. Makes this season so disappointing. Makes this season so unbearable. Is the fact that we had hope. Legitimate hope. Not the Rex Grossman, John Beck, why not us hope. The hope and the prayer hope of last year, of the season before last, and the season before that. Where you just hope the Redskins get hot and can play some solid football and give us a chance to sneak in the back door as a wild card. No, we didn't have that hope this year. We had legitimate, I have a quarterback of the future hope. We're scoring 30-plus points a game hope. We have a chance. We put fear in the hearts of our opponents hope. We're actually relevant. We actually matter on the NFL landscape hope. We can get it done week in and week out hope. We actually had that for the first 6 weeks of the season when we were 3-3. That's gone now. No longer are we a team with confidence, with the ability to score like that in the blink of an eye, with the ability to put 34 points on the scoreboard and make you have to outlast us, to make you have to outscore us. We're no longer that team. We've regressed back into the Redskins of last year and 2 years ago, the ones that can barely score 17 points, the ones that can't get out of their own way with stupid penalties, senseless penalties, the ones that are giving up sacks in the passing game, the ones that can't go out and execute. We're that team again. We're a joke again. No longer are we relevant on the NFL landscape. No longer is Redskins football must-see TV. We're just the Redskins again. We're just that team that you put on the back burner and say, oh, okay, the Redskins are playing. Let's give them a 30-second highlight and move on. Because they don't matter. We're that team again. And it's frustrating because you thought we had a shot this year. We got false hope at the beginning of the season. They tricked us. Yeah, the Redskins organization, they tricked us into thinking that we had a legitimate shot. That our December games this year were going to matter. Here it is, the first week of November, and we're already out of it. We're already talking about evaluating players. We're in evaluation mode. Unreal. Are you kidding me? 9 games into the season and we're finished. That's what happens when you have a must-win game at home against a 1-6 team and you can't go out and get it done. We're a joke. An absolute joke. And I laugh just to keep me from getting mad. Because there's nothing funny about what's going on in Washington right now. We're not a good football team. We're not a talented football team. I was duped into thinking that we had a boatload of talent. And yeah, injuries will do that to you. Injuries will make your roster seem like it's less than what it is. Maybe we're a different football team if Brian Orakpo is healthy. If Adam Carricker is healthy. If Brandon Merriweather is healthy. Maybe we're a different football team on defense if those guys are in the lineup. Maybe not. We'll never know. Maybe we're a different offense if Pierre Garçon wasn't hurt. If Jamal Brown could ever get his hip to not ail him. Maybe we're a different team on offense. Who knows? We'll never know. Well, all I can say is we scored points without Pierre Garçon earlier in the season. We scored points without Jamal Brown. And look, I've given up on Jamal Brown. I'm ready to cut ties with Jamal Brown. I've cut my losses. I've already removed him from my memory bank. I forgot he was even on the roster. That's how I approach Jamal Brown now. He's a non-issue to me. But you can't deal with who's not playing. You only can deal with who's on the field. And right now, we're not a talented group. Not as talented as we thought we were. We don't have as much depth as we thought we did. And it's apparent. And we're being out-executed. We're being outplayed. We're being out-hustled. We're being out-physical. And we're being out-gutted. Teams are just playing with more heart, with more sense of urgency than we are. We don't get it. And it's so disheartening to watch. It's an atrocity. I'm so disappointed. Words can't even begin to describe the feeling I had when I was watching that game on Sunday. I really was at a loss for words. I didn't know how to describe the emotions that were going through me because I really thought that we had a shot. Not for 1 second when I was talking about this game to people, when I previewed this game, not for 1 second did I think we were going to lay an egg. Did I think we were going to lose? Because I thought we were a better football team than that. But I was wrong. We are a joke. We're the same Redskins team that we were 2 years ago, that we were last year, and we're heading for the same record. 5-11, 6-10. The only difference this year is there's no silver lining. Because every loss means that it's a higher draft pick for the St. Louis Rams. This isn't our pick. We're not playing for us. We're playing for someone else. So every time we lose, the St. Louis Rams smile. Because that pick just got higher. There's nothing good to come of what we're doing right now. I had a buddy of mine say, well, at least you're getting to evaluate young talent. What young talent? What young talent? The only young talent that I have is Robert Griffin III and Alfred Morris. Where else on this roster do you see young talent? I'm waiting. You got some names for me? It's really bleak. The outlook for this team is bleak. Because we're not a good football team. We just don't get it. And at the end of the day, we're just not a good football team. We don't have a lot of talent. You know, I overestimated the amount of talent on this football team. I was way off. I thought, man, we got one of the best receiving corps in the league. Not even close. Not even close. I was like, man, we're going to be able to get after the quarterback this year. We were one of the better teams in the league last year at getting after the quarterback. We'll be lucky if we even sniff a quarterback. I'm talking about even get within arm's reach of a quarterback. When's the last time we got consistent pressure throughout a football game? This season. Let me think. I'm going to actually take a second to think because I'm curious myself. Can't think of the last time we actually got consistent pressure on a quarterback. So let's think about that. Drew Brees, opening game of the season. Dare I say opening game? Because if memory serves me correctly, we started to get pressure on Sam Bradford. Brian Orakpo went down, and then he carved us up. And the next week, the Bengals carved us up. No pressure on Andy Dalton. Josh Freeman, we didn't get any pressure on him. Neither did we get any pressure on Matt Ryan. And we may have gotten a little pressure on Eli. I'm not sure. I don't remember how our pressure was in that game. Doesn't matter. We lost. So, yeah, we haven't gotten consistent pressure on the quarterback since week 1 against the Saints. So we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. We're not sustaining drives. We don't get off the field on third downs. We're the most penalized team in the National Football League. We're not scoring touchdowns anymore. We're not forcing turnovers. We're giving up big plays on defense. We're not a good tackling football team. We don't execute well. We're not sound in our principles. We get penalties like illegal shift. We don't have a guy on the ball. I mean, we create ways to self-destruct. And in the National Football League, 1 or 2 of those normally get you beat in a game. Try doing 3, 4, 5 of those things at a time and trying to win. And that's where we are right now. We're not a disciplined team. We don't tackle well. We're giving up sacks now. We were once the number 1 rush offense in the league. We're no longer that. We were once, the 7th ranked offense in the league. We're no longer that. We once were in the top 5 in scoring in the National Football League. We're no longer that. We're regressing in every phase of the game. When's the last time our special teams unit was special? Give you a chance to think about that. When's the last time special teams made a play? When's the last time we forced a fumble on punt or kickoff? I won't even give you time to think about that because you'll be here all day. We don't make plays on special teams. When's the last time we blocked a punt or a field goal? And if you want to count that D'Angelo Hall block from Sunday against Justin Medlock and the Panthers, go right ahead. Be my guest. But I'm actually talking about a block that goes backwards that you can actually scoop and score with. When's the last time we had one of those? Teams do it to us all the time. But when's the last time we had one of those? When's the last time we generated a fumble on kickoff or punt? When's the last time our special teams did anything noteworthy? When's the last time we had a positive play from the special teams? Not a negative one, but a positive one. When's the last time the special teams actually did something noteworthy that was positive, that impacted the football game? I might have to go back 2 years to think of something that the special teams has done positively that impacted the football game for the Redskins. I mean, we don't do what other teams do. We don't get anything out of our special teams. We are an absolute joke. That's the best way to describe this Redskins football team. An absolute joke. But nothing's funny. That's the bad part. We're a joke, but nothing's funny. No one's laughing inside the building. Everybody's laughing outside of it. Everyone's getting a laugh at the expense of the Redskins. But inside, it's killing us. It's not funny. Where do you go from here? It's week 10 in the National Football League, and Mike Shanahan is talking about evaluating players because our season is done. First week in November, we already know that December doesn't matter. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, and that's really all that you can say. I mean, I don't even need to go over the rest of the game because we didn't do anything worth noting the rest of this game. I mean, if you want to talk about the late game situation where we had to burn a timeout because we got in the end zone already, got a penalty, and had to go and score again. We had 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. And so we had to burn a timeout. How big was that timeout in late game in the late stages of this football game. We have all three of our timeouts and we get that stop. Robert Griffin III gets the football back with well over a minute to go. No timeouts. But if you got over a minute, that's more than enough time to score in the National Football League. Instead, you have to burn a timeout because you were throwing the football outside of the end zone, get stopped on a slant 2 yards short of the end zone, have to burn a timeout just so we don't eat up a lot of clock trying to score a touchdown that we've already scored twice but had both called back because of penalties. So we only have 2 timeouts. They get the football. We can only stop the clock twice. And then they get to run the ball again, eat up 40 seconds of the clock, and we only get it back with about 27 seconds left on the clock. That's what bad clock management, that's what bad execution, that's what being undisciplined does for you. And that's a microcosm of this team. That's a microcosm of this season for us. It's that scenario at the end of the game where we had to burn a timeout just to get in the end zone when we already scored twice. That's where we are right now. We're a bad football team. At 3-6, after dropping this one to the Panthers 21-13, we go to our bye. And all you can do now is ask guys to be accountable, ask guys to look in the mirror and step up. It's hard for me to say make this season enjoyable because at this point now, you're just playing for pride. Because we don't have a shot at making the playoffs. And as wide open as the NFC is, it's a damn shame we don't have a chance this season. Because anybody has a shot. I mean, you got teams all over the place. 4-5. You got teams scattered all over the place. We're talking teams at 4-5, 5-4. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility this season. All you needed to do was be in the mix and you would have a shot in the NFC this season. And we blew it. We don't even have a legitimate shot right now. We're done. And it's only week 10. Or it's only week 9. But we're done. It's only week 9 and we're done. And that's what the Redskins are right now. We're a franchise that's done. So, like I had said on the preview for this one, if you lose this game, there's nowhere to go but down. I asked, where do you go from here? You go down. You go down to the bottom of the NFC East, where you normally dwell anyway. So you go and get comfortable. Go ahead and grab a pillow. Get comfortable. Go ahead and lay down. Make your bed at the bottom of the NFC East. You're not coming out of the cellar in the NFC East. So go ahead and make a bed and lay in it. Get a pillow, get comfortable, because we're going to be at the bottom of the NFC East for like the 6th consecutive season. Again, we're the laughing stock of the division. No one respects us. Teams come into FedEx Field routinely and get victories. Our home field advantage is a joke. We as a franchise are a joke. Us as a team are a joke. And so everyone just laughs at us. No one respects us in our own division. Teams know they can come in FedEx Field and get a win. It's not hard to do that. And then you get mad when guys like Antrell Roll are offended when they lose to us. We're not supposed to lose to the Redskins. And then you want to get mad and get an attitude and say, oh, he's spouting off at the mouth. No, he's being real. He's saying what all the teams around the National Football League are saying. We should not lose to the Redskins because they're not a good football team. We're supposed to trample over them and move on. So when you lose to the Redskins, it's disappointing. It's like losing to an 0-16 team because they stink. They're not a good football team. We should be able to beat them. And on that note, I'm going to stop my rant now because, again, it's getting old and I'm tired. I'm just tired. As a fan, you become numb to losing and you should never feel that way. But I'm almost to the point now where it was starting to become fun again. I got false hope. I was tricked into thinking that we were actually a solid football team that was on the rise. We were learning. It was okay to be 8-8 this season. It was okay to be 7-9 this season. It was okay. That was a step in the right direction. We're not going to be 7-9 this season. We're not going to be 8-8. We're not going to be 9-7. We're going to be 6-10, 5-11 again. That's not okay. Because that means we're running in place. We're making lateral moves. We're supposed to be taking a step forward, not a step back, not a step sideways. I'm just tired. I'm tired of thinking that I have hope. I feel like I'm chasing a ghost of hope. I feel like I'm chasing a ghost. When am I ever going to actually catch hope? Hope that we have a game in December that matters. Hope that we have a chance of making the playoffs. Hope that we are a good football team. When am I going to stop chasing the ghost of hope and actually catch it? When does that ghost actually turn into a real, tangible thing that we can feel and touch and actually say that we have hope and grab a hold of it? When is that going to occur? Because right now it's a ghost. You can't see it. You can't touch it. It's not real. We don't have it. I'm just tired. I'm tired of feeling hopeless. Tired of not having a shot. I'm tired of being irrelevant. I'm tired of the Redskins not being a good football team. And so we go to our bye week at 3-6. At this point, you're not mathematically eliminated, but for all intensive purposes, you have absolutely no shot at making the playoffs. Not playing the football that we're playing right now. And you'd be a damn fool to think that we're going to just turn it up after the bye. Stop committing penalties. Stop giving up big plays on defense. Stop giving up third down conversions on defense. Stop allowing teams to score points on defense. And start executing on offense. Stop shooting ourselves in the foot on offense. And start scoring points again on offense. You'd be a damn fool to think that we're just going to come off of our bye and things are just going to click and we're going to start playing good football again. And we're going to run off 5 or 6 straight victories. You'd be a damn fool to think that. Especially with the schedule we have coming up. We'd be lucky to win 2 games in the next 6 games. We got Dallas, Philly, Giants, Ravens, all in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So any notion that we're going to just start winning football games, you need to put those to rest. It's going to be a long season. So we're at the 3-win table right now. Buckle yourself in. Put your seatbelt on because we're not getting up from the 3-win table for a long time. We're going to be here a while. And it's frustrating. It's sad. But that's where we are. It's a sad state of affairs. But that's what we've done. That's what we've created. And so that's what we are. We're a sad football team. And that's going to do it for this Week 10 edition of the Redskins Report. I thank you for joining me. And as always, I'm a Redskin fan etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskin spirit will never die. My Redskin spirit will never fold. I'm telling you, it'll never die, it'll never fold. But man, sometimes it wavers a bit. But I always stick it out through and through, man. But it just becomes so much harder each and every year, especially when you feel like you have a chance. And then you realize you really don't. It hurts. It really does. But I thank you for joining me on this program. It's been a long episode. It could have been a lot longer, but at this point, you cut your losses. Just like the Redskins need to do, I cut my losses. I just cut it short. But I thank you for joining me. And again, we'll come back. And there's no preview this week because we don't have a game this week. But I'll just talk about the state of affairs of the Redskins and keep us abreast of what's going on at Redskins Park. So you'll see me later on in the week talking about the Redskins and where we stand and where we go from here. So I thank you for joining me. As always, hail to the Redskins. But it's not much hailing to do right now. It's not a lot you can do in a positive sense if you're talking about the Redskins. There's not a lot that you can do And there's not a lot you can take from this football game other than we're not a good team, we're a joke. So on that note, again, I thank you for joining me. Have a good one. It's going to be tough these next 48 hours, soaking in another loss and going to 3-6 on the season, knowing that you have a bye week and you're not a good football team, and that you don't have a chance for the 2012 season. Your season is all but done after 9 weeks. Tough pill to swallow. But again, when you're the Redskins, you should be used to it. And that's always a scary thing, getting used to losing. Have a good one. Enjoy your week.
The Redskins Report.